Jerusalem. The city was alive with pilgrims, songs, and prayers as the great feast of Passover drew near. At the heart of it all stood the temple, a place designed by God to be holy, to be the meeting point between heaven and earth. But what Jesus saw when he walked into its courts was not holiness. It was corruption, it was greed, and it was time for cleansing. The outer courts of the temple, meant for worship, had become a marketplace. Merchants shouted their prices, animals bleated and struggled in cages. Money changers demanded high fees from poor travelers who came to offer sacrifices. The sound of prayer was drowned out by the clatter of coins. The temple, meant to be a house of prayer for all nations, was now filled with the noise of business and the stench of exploitation. Jesus stopped. He looked around, and righteous anger burned within him. With firm hands, Jesus wove together a whip of cords, and then he moved with unstoppable authority. Tables were overturned, coins scattered across the stone floor. Merchants stumbled back as animals were driven out. Voices of greed fell silent under the authority of the Son of God. And then Jesus cried out, "It is written, 'My house shall be called the house of prayer,' but ye have made it a den of thieves." Matthew 21:13, KJV. His words echoed through the courts, silencing the chaos. In that moment, Jesus revealed his zeal for the holiness of his Father's house. The disciples who followed him remembered the prophecy of the Psalms. "The zeal of thine house hath eaten me up." John 2:17, KJV. This was no outburst of human anger. It was the burning passion of the Messiah, the one who came to cleanse, to restore, and to declare God's authority over his temple. But Jesus' actions pointed to something greater. When the religious leaders challenged him, Jesus said, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." John 2:19, KJV. They thought he spoke of the stone building before them, but Jesus was speaking of his body. The true temple was not made with human hands. It was Christ himself, God dwelling among men. And when he rose from the dead 3 days after his crucifixion, his words were fulfilled. The temple of his body was raised, and through him every believer now becomes a temple of the Holy Spirit. The cleansing of the temple was not just about driving out merchants. It was a declaration. God's presence is holy. Worship cannot be sold, and the Messiah has come to make us clean. Today, you and I are called the temple of God. So let us ask, will we allow Jesus to cleanse our hearts? As Jesus cleansed the temple thousands of years ago, he showed us the heart of God, a heart that cannot tolerate greed, corruption, or empty worship. Today, he is calling each of us to examine our own hearts. What tables in your life need to be overturned? What distractions are keeping you from true prayer, holiness, and devotion? The temple of stone is gone, but the temple of your heart remains. Will you allow Jesus to cleanse it, restore it, and fill it with his presence? Remember, he is not just a figure of the past. He is alive, he is holy, and he desires to dwell within you. Let him cleanse your heart today and become a living temple for God's glory.